Welcome everyone, I'm Andrea, your automated trader. If you like what I do, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the videos. Let's say I started developing this new expert after watching a video. I saw this video by Andrea Unger where he talks about a nighttime bias on American indices. He uses ETFs, and I decided to see if it would work with the CFDs that I use. The idea is simple, so you enter a position. Long, now. I tried it on the Nasdaq to test it out. Anyway, you enter a long position on the index at the close and close the position at the opening of the next day, always referring to the cash market, so during the cash session. Here I'll show you the code for this expert advisor that I wrote. So I'll go a bit quickly since it's just an initial version. We have the opening time, the closing time, and I've set a stop, loss, magic number, comment. So here we enter the magic number. There are these two lines here, which are the ones needed to manage the times using this method. So then I created the opening time and the closing time. Here I check that there are no open positions so that only one can be opened at a time. This is the part where positions are closed. So the next day after I've opened them, I go and close them. Then I added this line to check the days, because then in the video it is mentioned to remove Friday from the days. So here I have the code where I actually place my order if I am after the opening time, if all positions are at 0, so I don't have any other positions. I enter and place my order and go ahead with my buy. Let's see what happens by testing the expert in this way. We always have to keep in mind that in the video they talked about using ETFs. We use CFDs, and the big problem is that when moving from one day to the next, we have to pay the swap, which doesn't exist with ETFs. So this could be an important point. So let's see what happens. I've set the time here for carefully opening the position, which I really need to set precisely at 22:03. No, sorry. At 22 o'clock is the closing time, and the position closes at 15 o'clock. Let's use the Nasdaq, take a long period, as long as possible, and see what happens. Here we have our equity. Let's say it's a bit of a disaster, because we practically always lose. So this is an expert that was created this way, just as it was proposed on CFDs. It absolutely doesn't work. So what do we do now? Now, the idea I had is to eliminate all the costs related to swaps. So instead of opening the position at 10 p.m., which is the Nasdaq's closing time, I open it at 1 or 1:05 a.m. This way, I'm already in the next trading day. Yes, I miss out on that first part of the trade, but I don't have the swap cost. Let's see what happens if we do it this way. So let's take a look at the code for the second version, which does everything within the same day, let's say. So it has eliminated the problem of swaps. So we have the first part related to money management. I had already made a video where I show this. How can you calculate the lot size based on your risk that you want to have calculated on your balance? Then we have the expert settings where there's the position opening time, the closing time, and the stop loss that I added. Last lines, magic number, and a comment on the trade. Here in the on init, we only enter the magic number. So let's go to OnTick. We have these two lines again for managing the times, just like in the other version. We set the seconds, which are always 0, because we don't care about entering at any second other than 0. Then we define the opening time, so we've created time open as a structure, and then we have time close. Same thing. Here we have the function to close our positions at a certain time, so at the close time. We close the positions. In this version, I have a counter that instead of calculating the positions I've opened each time, I use this counter. When I open a position, it becomes 1, and when it's after the closing time, obviously I always reset it, along with that filter regarding the days. So let's go ahead and remove Friday, which is this day here. Then another filter was added, which was mentioned in the video, where basically we need to have close 1 less than close 2. What are these two values? Close 1 is the daily close of the last bar, while close 2 is the daily close of the second to last bar. So here, when I enter a position, I take the ask value and calculate the stop loss. I go and calculate the lots I need to reach the percentage I set, and I make the trade in this line and enter a buy. So here at the bottom, as always, we have our function to calculate the position size. So let's see if by doing it this way, the initial equity, which was, thank you. If it's completely losing, does it improve, or is it not possible to use this bias with CFDs? Let's see. So let's set our example for a risk of 2, just to have a value. We enter a position at 105 and close at 330 when the next session opens. Now let's set a stop loss at 2%, so it's a bit wide to keep us from always hitting the stop. So with 2%, we shouldn't hit the stop overnight, and let's see what happens. We can see that just by removing the swap, the curve changes completely. So we don't have an expert that always makes money, but we do have a curve that is potentially interesting, with the first part where it went up quite a bit. Then we have a whole sideways phase in the middle, and the last period, let's say in the last year, which still ended up positive. So this particular expert system could indeed be a very interesting and valuable idea to further develop and significantly improve. Of course, as it currently stands right now, it's quite frankly hardly usable in a live, real-time environment. Consequently, the numerical results and data we've meticulously obtained aren't exactly great or outstanding, but they are certainly not that terribly bad either, all things considered. Now, from this point where I leave you the code, you can start from this video, develop the idea a bit, add some filters, maybe change the time frames. It's up to you. Keep experimenting until you maybe find an interesting setup. If you manage to do it, let me know in the comments. I might give it a try myself. I'll also be running my own tests now. I'll keep developing this idea, because it does seem solid enough that maybe, with a few filters, it could be refined and improved. For example, during this whole sideways period, by carefully filtering the trades and keeping only the positive ones, maybe you can achieve a smoother and more usable curve even for live trading. What I really like and what struck me about this expert is that it makes money while I sleep, because it actually works during the hours when people are sleeping, from 1 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. Most of the work is done during the nighttime session. So I sleep, wake up in the morning, check and find money in my account. This is incredible, fantastic. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Stay tuned to see the new content I'll be making soon.